So you take a look at those AL East standings, you see the Jays, who have clinched a playoff berth at 90-65, holding a 4-game lead over the Yankees at 86-69. And then you have the battle for third. Baltimore, 76-79. The Sox at 75-80. Tampa Bay, last place now, 75-81. I thought it was a real statement win for the Jays over the last week, taking 2 of 3 from the Yankees. Marcus Stroman threw 7 shutout innings for the Jays on Wednesday night. Such a weapon for Toronto entering the postseason to have Stroman alongside David Price at the top of that rotation. But, I sung the Jays' praises ad nauseum over the last couple weeks. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but they are on a tear entering October, and a real fun team to watch, and a real great story for baseball. What is not a great story for baseball, though, is the Washington Nationals and the implosion that's gone on in the nation's capital. We had our symbol for the Nats collapse on Sunday. Such a powerful symbol, in fact. It overtook the NFL on Twitter, which never happens. Bryce Harper in the 8th inning does not run out a pop-up in a 4-4 game. He comes back to the dugout. Jonathan Papelbon is chirping him. Now, earlier in the week, Papelbon hit Manny Machado with a pitch up around the head. Machado was luckily able to shield himself, but Papelbon going up around the head area. Harper then kind of disses Papelbon after the game and says it's a tired act. It's tired to see this, and I'll probably get drilled tomorrow. He was not, but still, Harper did not seem enthused that Papelbon possibly put him in harm's way, hitting Manny Machado last week up around the head. So, fast forward to Sunday. I'm sure he had Papelbon just dying to say something to Harper when the situation warranted it. And there you had it. Tie game, 8th inning. Harper doesn't run out a pop-up to shallow left field. Perfect opportunity for the veteran Pap to chirp Harper. They get in each other's faces. Harper, if you eat his rip, says, all right, let's go. And Papelbon goes at him, chokes him out, tries to choke him out. It gets broken up. Harper's removed from the game. Papelbon is not. Keep that in the back of your minds for when we talk about Matt Williams' role in all of this. A lot of ways to go. Let's break it down here rather succinctly. Firstly, the Papelbon trade has been a disaster for the Nationals. It was superfluous at the time. They didn't need him with the way Drew Storen was throwing. And Storen, since Papelbon came aboard, effectively blew up his season. Storen put up a 7.56 ERA after the trade, and then he punched a locker earlier this month, which ended his season. He had a hand injury. So Storen, ERA near 8 after the Papelbon trade, punches a locker, breaks his hand, season over. And the situation may be the same next year because Papelbon is on the Nationals' books for $11 million next season. The team opted to vest his 2016 option because the Lerners, the owners over there, did not want to add to the 2015 payroll, which is just incredibly bizarre. I mean, this is an ownership group that spent $200 million on Max Scherzer, $120 million on Jason Worth. They bring in all of these high-priced veterans, and yet they chintz out at the end and don't want to add a penny to the 2015 payroll. So instead, they put Papelbon's option onto 2016. Now the Nats owe him $11 million, effectively making him untradeable unless they eat most of that money next season. So, a disastrous trade, superfluous at the time, could not have worked out worse, and the situation is not over once the season ends because Papelbon is still on the Nationals' books for more than $10 million next season. Lots of hot takes, as I'm sure you can imagine, on the Papelbon and Harper fight. CJ Nikowski of Fox Sports, I thought, had a really interesting article quoting several players anonymously about how Harper had it coming to him, and Papelbon, though the setting was inappropriate, did the right thing and finally put the kid in his place. So that was interesting to hear. I think it's crap. I think Papelbon acted like a donkey with Harper. I think Papelbon is a hypocrite when he, wants to bring down the hammer on Harper for not hustling. Because my question to Pap would be, well, did you bring down the hammer on Manny and Ortiz in Boston when they didn't hustle? Of course you didn't. And don't give me this unwritten rules crap about how Pap was a young player then, now he's a veteran, and Harper's a young player. Stop it. Bryce Harper is going to be the National League MVP this season. 40 home runs, OPS well north of 1,000, leads the league in pretty much every significant offensive category. This is Bonds-esque Harper's season, and you're going to try to choke him out for not running out a pop-up because you don't think he's doing enough to help you win? Get over yourself. Just ridiculous. So, I think Papelbon acted like a donkey there. I don't care what the unwritten rules say. I don't care what the baseball hierarchy says. Papelbon acted like an ass. Bryce Harper, the last person on that team who deserved that. Matt Williams, if you wanted to choke out Matt Williams, I'd probably understand. You look at the total way this season has gone down the toilet for Washington. You have to hold the manager largely accountable. I know they've had injuries to Ryan Zimmerman, Anthony Rendon, Denard Span, and others. I know the bullpen's been a disaster. Again, largely because the ownership chinsed out at the end. But if you're Matt Williams, you have to bear the brunt of this responsibility. Just so tone deaf. So tone deaf. The day the Nationals were eliminated this weekend, Matt Williams went up to the podium and said, "Oh, we just gotta win tomorrow." No, you don't. You do not have to win tomorrow. You are eliminated from the playoffs. The season is over. You don't have to win. It's all over. So when he went up there Sunday and was asked why he put Papelbon in the game, he said, he's our closer. Tie game in the 9th at home. That's why he was in there. So perfect. This man does not deviate from the script ever. Now, he also says he left Papelbon in the game because he didn't see the fight. You see, Matt Williams was on the other end of the dugout and apparently doesn't have feet and can't walk, does not have eyes, he can't see, does not have ears, he can't listen, does not apparently have any friends on the coaching staff or any peers or anybody who felt it was worthwhile to tell the manager, oh yeah, your closer and MVP just tried to choke each other out. Apparently Matt Williams, a perfect symbol again. Lost control of the clubhouse. We hear that cliche all the time. Well, he literally lost control of his dugout in Sunday afternoon's game. So just a perfect symbol for a debacle of a year for Matt Williams as manager, and really 2 years dating back to his bullpen mistakes last postseason. So I think Williams should be out. I read a searing piece about him in the Washington Post as well, in which several anonymous national players lambasted the culture around the team and lambasted Williams as well for creating this stiff culture. So Williams has to go. The Nationals have to make changes. And here's the line they're going to have to address this offseason. How far do they go in fixing this? Because the Nationals cannot just write off this season to injuries and a bad bullpen and a bad manager. We saw it with the Red Sox in 2011. What happens when you write off an epic collapse to bad luck and a bad manager? If you don't change the root of the problem, you're going to have the same issues the next season, perhaps even worse. So the Nationals need to make major changes of some sort. They need to change the culture of that team in some capacity. That is quite clear. But they also have to remember, Mike Rizzo, if he still has his job, has to remember, he has a very talented top of the roster that won 98 games just last year. They don't need a complete enema. They still have Bryce Harper. They still have just Steven Strasburg. They still have Max Scherzer. Anthony Rendon, when healthy, still a very good player. They don't need a complete enema. The tools are still there for the Nationals to be a World Series contender in 2016 as is. They just need to know which are the right changes to make. And yeah, they need to make major changes. But they also have to recognize what has gone right there over the last 4 years. And that is going to be the biggest challenge facing that organization this offseason. They need to make big changes, but they can't be too big. And that is a very tough line to decipher.